In comedy, it's a common practice to complain about your significant other, your wife, your husband, whoever. And to me, that's overplayed, and honestly, it's just not how I feel.
When I was engaged, my boy calls me up, he goes, "Bro, what are you doing? I would never get married. I would never let a lady take half my shit." I'm like, "Bro, you work at a Popeyes. You scared she won't sneak the wing up out your 2 feet, bro? Ain't nobody gold digging from somebody in non-slip shoes. That's not happening, brother." And he said this nonsense. He goes, "Man, the divorce rate is at an all-time high. It's at an all-time high. You should get a prenup." I said, "I feel like you think I'm doing better than I really am. I'm doing stand-up comedy with about 3 inches of headspace. We can skip the paperwork, dog."
A lot of people are so afraid of what they might lose that they fail to see what they might actually gain. It's become almost cultural to downplay marriage nowadays. So much that one time I was doing a show and I spoke about marriage and somebody started booing just the idea of it.
I was playing the theater and this woman stood up from the crowd. And she goes, "Boo marriage! I've been divorced 3 times." And I go, "It's crazy to get up and go, hey, nobody can stand my ass. You've been divorced 3 times? I see the pattern here, baby, it's you, right? What are you talking about? It's not a badge of honor. Oh, I've been divorced 3 times. She goes, "I don't even like marriage." I go, "Bullshit, you like it more than I do. You've done it 3 times. You've tied the knot so many times you could be a damn Boy Scout. You love marriage. You just suck at it. You're playing the game. You're just terrible. You're the Cleveland Browns of holy matrimony. That's who you are."
It's crazy to me how many people who have been divorced decide to make that their entire personality. And it's not that I'm not sympathetic to it. There's people like that in my family. For example, if you hang out with my grandma, she's going to tell you about her divorce immediately. And then periodically throughout the day.
My grandparents, they did get divorced when I was a kid. And my grandma, she's never let it go. To this day, I'll be hanging out with her and she'll be like, "You remember when your grandpa was running around on me?" I'm like, "Yeah, Nana, but they're asking if you want a soup or a salad right now, so what's going on?"
There's a lot of reasons marriages don't work out. And I'm not on here pretending to be some type of relationship guru. I'm just saying some of these things you could have figured out before you decide to tie the knot. For example, one thing people often complain about is in-laws. Like, how do you not like your in-laws? You had all the time in the world to figure that out.
And I hate when celebrities get on TV and they start talking about how terrible their marriages were. Like the big one recently was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And they're like, "We found out that his parents were racist." What? You found out that the British royals were racist? That's like walking into a haunted house going, "God damn, there's ghosts in here!" Of course the British royals are racist. They're the hills have eyes people with money.
I knew exactly what family I was marrying into. It's not like it was a surprise.
My mother-in-law, I don't know if we have Schitt's Creek fans in here. My mother-in-law is Moira Rose to the T. Yeah, R.I.P. Catherine O'Hara, damn comedy icon, love her. First thing she ever said to me was, "Hey Eugene, how are you guys storing your wines?" Like, "I don't know, Nancy, it came in a box. Give me that straw, we'll turn this Cabernet into a Capri Sun tonight."
When you get married, you're not just marrying your partner, your significant other. You're actually blending your families together. You're kind of marrying their family as well. So you have to find your role within that system. Before we ever got married, my wife wanted me to ask her father for her hand in marriage. And I was cool with that. But this next story that I'm going to share with you is a true story. This is maybe like the 2nd time I've told it on stage. I'm still working on it. But if you follow my career, eventually you'll see how I turned this into a killer bit.
I had to ask my father-in-law for her hand in marriage. I had to do that. My wife's like, "I'm old school. Will you go ask my dad for her?" I go, "Easy, right? Should I get a pig?"
The whole idea of asking a father for his permission to marry his daughter is pretty outdated, right? It's kind of just from the time when they were looking for supplies to make it through the winter. But I had no problem asking out of respect.
I had to ask her. She goes, my dad is scary. Everybody was afraid of my dad. The exes were afraid. All the kids were afraid. Guys, I show up in Boston. I say, Mike, would you give me the honor of allowing me to take your daughter's hand in marriage? Everybody in the house started crying. I was the only one without tears in my eyes. He started crying. Her mom started crying. The damn dog was whining in the back.
Like I said, this story is brand new to me telling it on stage. I'm still figuring it out for how it works mechanically for an audience. But here's how it kind of was. I was sitting in their house and I was in the man cave just watching the Grammys, and it felt like the entire home was just waiting for me to ask this question. And at one point it's just me and my wife's father. And I go, now's the perfect time. I say, hey Mike, would it be okay if I took your daughter's hand in marriage? I said it in a much more eloquent way, a much more respectful way. He immediately starts crying. And then he goes, out of respect, would you ask my wife? It would mean a lot to her. I go, sure, I'll ask anybody. She comes in. I ask her. Nancy starts crying. My new brother-in-law was in another room changing his newborn's diaper. He was getting covered in it. I'm sure he was crying. And it just got really awkward. Everybody in the home's crying except me. So I just casually sit back down on the couch and turn back on the Grammys. It felt like that Homer Simpson meme where he popped out of the bushes and then just casually creeps back into the bushes.
This is a weak family. They're a nice family, they're sweet, they're beautiful, that's where their value is, right? But I felt like I was drafted, right? What they needed was a protector. They found some random Puerto Rican who used to fight and said, you know what, he can save the family.
Now this part I put on myself, in the name of comedy, but anybody who truly knows me knows that I am a protector. If you're in my inner circle, I'm gonna do whatever it takes for me to take care of you and make sure that you're fine in any situation.
I still think to this day, if somebody broke into their house, the first thing they would do is call me. And I'm like, I live in Orlando. And they're like, well, what should we do? And I'm like, get on the phone with the attorney and get that will ready. Looks like I got a house in Cape Cod coming pretty goddamn quick.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you follow my career, you'll eventually see how that story evolves into a killer bit for the stage. If you want to see more of the stories behind my stories, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great day.